Welcome back. Rene Rosado is here with us. We have Katie from K Squared.
Hey,
Yes,
Rene.
I'm happy to be here again. How are you guys doing?
Good. I think a question, though, before we
Yes.
begin.
Okay.
Are you on another level or phase of maturity since we've seen you last?
Actually, yes.
Oh.
That quick, huh?
Since then, we've produced a film.
Wow.
And
You mean yes.
Yes,
Yes,
you
I
and
mean,
I.
yes.
sometimes Chris forgets he's still a producer. And
Yeah.
a doctor.
He's got so much
And an
going
actor.
on. Can you blame him?
I just want to be a freaking kid.
Got a lot going on.
No responsibilities, nothing to worry about.
Well, Rene, some people might not have seen the first episode, but so this one, we'll just give them a little bit of background. You're an actor.
Actor, producer, living in now both Los Angeles and Tampa.
Awesome. I got
Craziness.
I want to hear some crazy stuff. I want to hear some like crazy things you've seen.
She's
on
all
set.
behind. She's all about behind the scenes for all these movies.
Sure, just
I,
She like watch it and be, is that true? Are they actually eating food? Like, are they having sex for real? Like, what's going on? So,
And now I overthink everything after being around you guys.
so now I think that Katie's gonna have a lot of questions, and I think she's gonna hit this one really hard.
All right, bring them on, guys. What do we got?
All right, shooter, like the shootings, the bombs, the action movies, the explosives,
Yes.
fires, guns,
Yes.
all the
Crazy.
violence. How do they make it look like that?
Well, in this last movie that I did called Low One Theory, my character gets his head blown off.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
A
A little graphic.
Yeah. You're so funny. You actually, because Katie loves comedies, so she's
I know.
like, she has this question.
It's a romantic comedy. It went
It's
from
a
me
ro-
not wanting to be kidnapped, I think like a year ago was that maybe?
Well, because I only watch like comedy, like, romantic movies, like very lighthearted.
You
sitcoms.
watch reality TV.
Yeah,
Oh,
this was your
love.
question.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Well, because I don't like watching it because it looks so real.
Yeah, it looks real, but it's not. It's not. But I know it's not, right? But like
it still feels real, and it's real fear when I watch it.
the hardest
don't you
thing.
Don't you want to be desensitized though?
No.
No? Okay.
The hardest thing is actually acting like it is real. So in this one scene, I have an actor pointing an AK-47 to me, and my character.
Is it a real AK-47?
Yes, but obviously, it's been checked, it's safe, so you're not gonna get shot.
It's not Alec Baldwin holding the AK-47, is it?
No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
No
I
comment
can throw
at
that
all.
out there,
So it's a real gun.
Yes. It's sometimes they're props. Sometimes they're all prop guns. Sometimes it's a real gun, right? Or sometimes it could be like if it's not a close up, it could be like it'll be like a rubber gun.
Oh. So sometimes it's not a real gun.
No, they're not all real.
They all look really real.
Yes.
And then how do they do, like, they put like a flash in front of, like, right where the gun shoots?
These days they're doing it mostly CGI.
Oh, okay.
Computer-generated
Yes.
images, for those who don't know.
Yes. And in my case, it'll be a CGI, like a blast, right? But what the way they prepped me was I had a stunt guy teach me how to fall back, and I had a mat out behind me.
Okay.
Right. And then I had it's a special effects team that comes in, and they put a hose up my pants, up my back, and it connected to the back of my
Like
my
a blood
ear.
hose.
Like a blood hose.
Oh.
And as the actor, there's a guy on right by my feet that the camera doesn't see, and he's pumping blood. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, it's actually pretty comedic, to be honest.
So
with
what
you.
is the blood? What kind of
It's like
material
it's a
or liquid
red
substance
syrup.
is that?
It's a red sugary syrup.
Yummy.
Yeah, but it's so sticky. So like, a lot of people want to do those scenes, but when you have to do it over and over again, and then you got to clean yourself up, and then you got to go to wardrobe and get a new shirt. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
now I
then go
have a
back.
whole new line of questions.
Yeah.
So when you got to do the same scene over and over, and again, if you're like doing this exploding scene, or if you're eating or drinking, I've noticed sometimes shows have messed up. Like this person just drank their whole wine glass, but then half a second later in the scene, it's filled
Full.
back up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait a second.
Yes, that's called continuity. And that's someone failing at their job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last night I was watching because I just needed something to pass
They're getting
out.
fired.
I was watching that show Taken, right?
Yeah.
And he's grilling and he puts the meat on the grill. It sizzles. There's no flames. There's no nothing.
But
the
you
whole
hear
time.
sizzles.
Yes, but
Yeah,
you hear sizzles,
yeah, there's
right?
sizzles though.
I always find it funny the scenes where they have to smoke a cigarette, right? So
yeah, you got to keep it lit the same amount.
you got to keep it lit the same amount, and it's so hard to do that. So, say you and me, Katie, are doing a scene, and you walk in through the door, and normally what these actors are doing lately is they'll already be smoking, and by the time you sit down to start the scene with me, they shut off the cigarette. You know what I mean? To keep that
so
continuity.
they don't really have to keep.
Yes. Plus, you got to remember that if I am smoking in the entire scene, we could do this scene for hours.
Yeah, there's so many smoking scenes, and I'm like, what if these actors don't even smoke?
You could tell they blow the smoke. You just blow. They're not inhaling.
You can tell that they just don't smoke, and that's one of the things that I don't.
I don't think I can tell. I don't think I got that down yet.
Yeah, you can tell for sure.
You will tell.
Yeah.
Oh.
I also don't like when they take shots, right? Because you're at a bar, you're doing a bar scene, everyone's like, hey, let's have some shots, right?
Water.
It's colored water, right?
Colored
or sometimes
water.
they give you
ginger ale,
like a ginger ale or something like that, and then like
see that I expected. I expected to be like apple juice and stuff.
Yeah, but they
or they'd
also
be
really
hammered.
do.
But it's the face that
But they
put.
really do also drink alcohol sometimes too, right?
It's very rare that it'll happen. Very, very, very rare.
Because think of how many times you'll have to drink. You're gonna be hammered.
Yeah. But some actors, what they'll do is when you're actually at a bar and you take a shot, some people are like they do a little face, they scrunch their face, and
I know it very well.
Yeah, and I just some actors just sometimes you'll watch a movie, they'll take a shot and they'll do the face, and I'm like, I hope I never do a face like that. Like I don't know.
But in real life, I'm gonna make a face if I take a shot.
Some people, not all people, do the face. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's not a choice that you have to do every single time you take a shot when you're doing a scene.
You must cringe a lot watching people.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, back
especially
to
when I look at my own work.
Aw, that's gotta suck. Like watching something from like 10 years ago.
We could practice doing shots then. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You do that tonight. Wait, I gotta go back to your head exploding. So they have a hose. They have it all the way hooked up to your head. It's red syrup. It's not blood.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah, and
some guy's pumping it.
Yes, and so mind you have a crew of maybe 50, 75 people all around you, right? And we're shooting outside. You have there's the lighting crew was like kind of blocking the sun with this giant like 25 by 25.
Yeah, because if you're shooting at 1 p.m. and then you're shooting at 6 p.m., it's clearly going to look different.
Yes. So like, they try to light it to look the same. So, I mean, it is a packed set. And in this particular movie, this was one take. That's it. That's all the time we had. So I had to either get it done right or that's how it's going to look.
Yeah, that's it.
And
you only got one shot at blowing your head off.
Yeah.
No more.
But that's your head. What happens when it's your chest and there's a hole in your shirt? How do you do that?
They have a squibs. So there's these little things called squibs, right?
Squibs.
And they explode. They go little small explosions.
Oh, like
bing,
little
bing,
poppets.
Little pops, right?
When you throw poppets on the ground.
And when you feel the pop, you move your body. So
like
if it pops on your right shoulder, you
can it
move your
burn you
shoulder
or
back.
can it hurt you?
No. You'll have a vest on those squibs for sure.
Squibs.
Do
I want
you
one.
like
So
that
cute.
word?
Squibs.
But
I do like that word.
But experiencing that moment as Rene, as myself,
as
right?
Rene Rosado.
Yeah, because you're in character, right? But then I remember being in that moment and just looking around. I'm like, oh my God, there's a little guy pumping to the right of me. There's I have one take to do, and when they yell action, I've never been shot in the head, thank God. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to react?
How are you supposed to know how to make your head explode? And do it right.
But it came out beautiful. And what I didn't know was that when the guy starts pumping the blood, the air, so it's like this pressure. It's a CO2 pressured hose. So it goes, right?
It explodes right there.
Yes, and it exploded right by my ear, and I wasn't expecting that sound. Poof.
Oh.
So So it made me jerk back already. It made me jerk back. And
That's
then I
good.
allowed my body to fall back.
So is it
that's
time
good.
match? Is it time match from when
it
they
has
do
to
that?
be-
Yeah.
It has to be perfect.
Wow.
You know, so
you got it.
practice it over and over and over again before you do the real thing. And we got it. We got it. And it looked amazing. I
Nice.
could show you the video after this.
I wanna see
It
it.
looks amazing.
So question then, because that's like shooting at you guys. What about like car shooting and you see those bullet holes in the cars or in buildings and you see the, you know, the bullets penetrating like the staircase and there's a shootout, blah, blah, blah. How do they do that?
Those are all like back in the day they would do like squibs, right? Those little sparks.
Back again to
right?
that one. Yeah.
But these days it's all CGI, man. It's
Is it
all
really?
it's all CGI like
Probably looks so real,
muzzle
huh?
flashes. Yeah.
Well, isn't it in Star Wars? They literally made one of the characters who had died in real life
A squib?
in the movie. No, not a
Oh.
squib. In the movie. Who is it? It's one of the new Star Wars movies. And like the character, I think it's like Leia, the real Leia, who has died in real life. They brought her back in the movie with CGI.
Oh wow. Yeah, they did that with
How come I know this
they
more
did
than
that
you
with
guys?
Artificial
Tupac.
intelligence.
You know, Tupac did a
the
concert.
hologram
Yeah, the
and all that.
holograms.
Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, how do I know this, guys? I feel like you guys should know this.
This is why they hired you, Katie.
I know everything about Star Wars.
She's been meditating, I could tell.
You know what was really interesting when we did Star Trek? You know when the ship moves to the right, when
Everyone
they're being attacked,
falls.
everyone needs to fall to the left. So like,
Yeah.
you know, JJ would go, all right, everyone to the left. Whoa, to the right. You know, like that. I thought that was a lot of fun, and it feels
It's like a roller coaster.
that's where like acting really does come in because it does feel off. You know, like this is not going to look
Clearly,
real.
you're not in a spaceship, and you're like the whole spaceship's turning around.
Yeah, no. But
you gotta make it look like it, though.
But you got to make it look like it. Exactly.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So what happens when you see people running through glass and like, you know, or the glass breaks? I mean, is that like sugar water?
That's
like
sugar
what is
water.
that?
Yeah, I've gotten hit by a glass bottle.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And that was a sugar water bottle?
Sugar water bottle.
I want one of those.
Yeah. When you're producing.
Katie will eat it.
By the way, Chris, as we're producing film,
Yes.
those sugar water bottles are expensive.
Are they? Oh my
yes.
gosh.
I was about to say, how much are those to make?
I'll get you a souvenir, okay?
I want one.
It'll be gone in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
But-
So every time that there's like glass breaking, well, on somebody's head, it's sugar water.
Yeah.
Most of
But
the time.
then when it's like cars and buildings, like when someone's jumping through a window, is it just really thin glass?
Thin glass, yeah. But you know, then you'll have your stunt team.
It's the stunts.
Yeah.
Stunt doubles.
Unless you're like Jackie Chan, who really does his stunts.
I want to do my stunts.
You don't.
Really?
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because the thing is, like,
It's a lot on a body.
It's so much on your body, and these stunt guys, they're the real deal, brother. These guys, they do this for a living. Like you know, like,
You guys aren't curious to try it out?
I've
Well,
tried it.
didn't
It's
Tom
not
Cruise-
fun.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
hurt yourself, and then you still have to work for the next 14
yeah. Didn't
hours.
Tom
hours.
Cruise hurt himself? He's like wearing a sling or
Yeah,
something.
he broke his ankle in Mission
from
Impossible.
like jumping on a helicopter.
And he landed, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
people get hurt all the time. Sylvester Stallone during Rocky.
He got hurt.
He punctured his rib,
Oh my
and
god.
it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. Yeah.
Wow.
So, okay, this is obviously not, we're talking about fight scenes and everything, but just a side note hit me. Like, what about the scenes when you guys are doing lines of coke? Are you actually
What?
snorting or what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's
Oh, the drugs.
Yeah,
on
the
this last
drugs.
film I did, I had to my character had to do lines of coke, and what it's
For the audience, cocaine.
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 Yes.
Your street term.
And it was vitamin B.
what?
Yes, it was lines of vitamin B.
You're doing vitamins and
Did you
minerals.
feel good after that?
Supplements.
You know,
that safe?
I ended up getting a sinus
So
infection.
it's funny you
I
say that. I was
thought.
just where it's
Yeah.
good. Jonah Hill in Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Yes.
There's every scene is full of lines of coke
Mm-hmm.
and whatever else they're snorting.
Mm.
He actually was hospitalized with pneumonia
Oh my
because
God.
they snorted so much, and he was in hospital for like a week or two or something.
Yeah.
Just
like
you
that.
shouldn't snort anything.
Yeah.
Nothing should go up your nose.
I mean, it goes into your lungs at some point, and
Yeah.
you get really bad.
a Flonase. That's pretty much the most I'll ever do.
I didn't know you can get sick by it. I ended up getting a really bad sinus infection off of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your whole nose was all clogged
Yeah,
up.
but it actually worked for my character because it was towards the end of the movie, and my character looked really
Sick.
bad at the end of the movie. So I was like, that was perfect.
Yeah, I am acting on point
Oh
today.
my God, he looks great. Yeah, he looks great.
All right, so what about like food? When you're eating food, is it cold? Is it real?
It's so these food scenes are always like, I like watching them because it's normally cold food, right? And you know those scenes where the whole family's there, and you're watching everyone in the family, like, they're all conversing with each other, and they will take small bites, or sometimes you'll just see them cutting
the whole time.
Yeah, because the moment you do a scene, and say it's you, me, and Kris eating in this table, and they record you eating. That means that every single time we do that take, you have to take a bite.
It's awful.
And that food,
you would die.
That food is cold and it's just nasty.
Because I've seen movies and things of people like stuffing their faces. So I wonder how many times they had to stuff their faces.
Well, you try to get those scenes as quickly as you can.
Like, let me bring up
obviously.
Elf, like Will Ferrell, Elf, and he's eating spaghetti, syrup.
Oh yeah,
Pop-Tarts,
M&Ms in there or something.
M&Ms,
yeah,
drinking syrup, drinking a whole 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola.
That's probably not real syrup though, right?
Oh
right?
no, it's probably real, brother.
Yeah, the viscosity did look thick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's probably real. I did this Church's Chicken commercial when I first started.
Church's Chicken,
yeah,
wow.
It was really weird.
Never had it.
For real?
Never had Church's Chicken. Have you, Katie?
Is it in Connecticut?
Katie, have you had? No, it's across the street.
Church's Chicken?
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course it's in Tampa.
Yeah, they flew me out to Texas. I was out there for 5 days to shoot a 30-second commercial, right? And the scene was supposed to be a group of friends eating Church's Chicken, and but they made a song out of every crunch. So for 3 days, we had a guy teaching us how to create a song off of a crunch with chicken.
That must have been some fried stuff.
It was the funnest commercial I ever shot in my life, and the worst at the same time, because so I would crunch, go and the other guy go we made a song off of it.
You were humming.
Right? We were humming, and it was a great commercial. But while shooting it, they had a lady to the right frying Church's Chicken.
Wow.
And it was real chicken. And then they give you a spit bucket on the bottom.
Because you got to spit it out.
Because you got to spit it out. Because at first, when you first start shooting it, you're eating it, right? But you still have another 12 hours to go. So after that, your stomach starts hurting, and that's when the acting comes in, and you're like, this is great, but it's not. It's like
you're all greased up and everything.
Greased up. Makeup comes in, makes everything look good.
Your fingers are swelling.
Oh my, yeah.
Damn, so you had real food. You had real fried chicken.
I've had real fried chicken. I've had just cold food where you're just, while the other person in the scene is talking, you're just like, playing with it.
So when is it they give fake food? Like, what would be an instance how they would do that? Or
the fake food will come in when it's just
expensive caviar.
When it's just the burger, right? If it's just the burger and they're just showing that, that's when they'll bring in I've heard friends who will be in the crew of these commercials, and they pour like a little bit of acid inside the meat so you can see the smoke come in, and like
the bun's not even a bun. It's like styrofoam that they've painted and airbrushed so perfectly to look like bread.
Yeah.
Whole life is a lie.
Yeah.
So my cravings I get when I watch movies or TV shows really is not a good thing.
It's the power of marketing, brother. It's the power of marketing.
I've just seen so many videos on Facebook of how they've just totally scammed me. Like there's styrofoam in like the French fry cup, and then they will stick like maybe 3 French fries on top.
Oh yeah.
To make it look like a full thing.
Yeah. As a kid, I was always upset that my burger would never look like the commercial.
Oh, this is one that I can't believe I didn't even think of asking you. What about animals? Like on set?
Oh, that's a good one.
There is someone in control of that animal.
Like a handler.
A handler, right? Oh. And this animal is protected, because
treated very nicely.
Oh my God, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they'll
as they should.
Yeah. We worked with I did this movie called National Anthem, and we worked with a horse.
Oh.
And that horse it's a pretty famous horse in New Mexico. I forgot the name of the horse.
Oh, it starts with a C or something. I remember you told me.
Yeah, but
not
this
Seabiscuit?
horse is
trained it's not Seabiscuit.
To
it is a horse.
So it'll be standing up, and that it's trained to like play dead.
Like faint, yeah.
Yeah, to play dead. And what's interesting is that you can just get a little horse like doll to make it look real, but the director wanted a real horse.
Huh.
And
What do you mean a horse doll?
A giant fake
Like stuffed,
horse,
stuffed animal, like a
stuffed horse that looks real.
something.
Yeah, because we're
Like they have at like museums and stuff.
yeah.
Are they having it at stores too? It doesn't have to be museums.
Well, to make it look realistic, I feel like it's gotta
What
be.
museum are you going to?
So Katie usually is used to being at Merritt Island, driving
small
across to
town.
Tampa, and that's it. So other, like, you go to New Mexico or all these places that have like nice farms and stuff, they sell like real deal looking stuff.
I'm from a little town. When you're saying a fake horse, I'm thinking of like the stuffed animals at like Toys R Us.
Think about the swordfish that you guys catch and it's in someone's house hanging there, right? Look
Now
how
you're
that is,
speaking my
right?
language.
That's exactly what that is.
Especially
From
if
a
the horse is
beach
playing
town.
dead.
Yeah.
But this was a real horse, and what we weren't expecting was the fact that we're shooting at night and we have fake rain, right?
Oh, I got more questions for fake rain. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And
Can't buy it.
you can't make any noise when you're working with this animal.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So like I had to learn how to. We were trained to know like what part of the horse we had to be lay down on. And
don't
like,
scare it,
and
spook
so we
it.
so we don't scare it, and like but the rain machine was making too much noise, and the horse would kind of get up.
Didn't
And
like it.
I'm not used to being around animals. Like, this is a big animal.
Horses are kind of freaky.
Yeah, especially at night,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And,
I didn't know it was at night.
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
forgot. Horses going to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, in the story, the horse is dying.
Oh,
yeah, sadly, it was a really
oh my
really sad moment,
gosh.
but beautiful moment within the storyline.
Oh.
And it was scary for me. It was scary for me because like anytime the horse would jump up, there's no one there protecting me. They're there to protect the horse. You know what I mean?
It's like
Renee needs a handler.
Yeah, I need a handler.
Are there animal rights people that are on set and stuff like that too?
Oh
And
yeah,
protection?
they're there the entire way. They're there
That's
while you're
good.
training to be with the horse. They're there while the horse is on set.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's they're very protected.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember a video went out, again, Facebook, but it was going viral because it was about, I don't know what it was, but there was these animals like dogs in like a wave pool, and they were shooting it to look like they were in the ocean, and they said like PETA got involved because like the dogs were drowning.
Oh my gosh.
And it like got it, viral on everything. So that's why I'm like, they've got to have some things in place by now.
There must be a union
yeah.
or sanctions that they have to impose whenever animals are used,
There's
right?
so many rules and regulations. It's these
And
animals are
what-
extremely protected.
I don't know if you know, but but what about for like babies? Isn't there a rule?
Yeah, I'm a TV dad in the Connors.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
are.
I forgot you
I'm
have a baby.
TV dad. That's the coolest thing.
In the Connor show.
Yeah. And so
And that's live.
Yeah. It's
Live audience.
It's live. But with the baby, we would have 4 babies that looked alike.
That's awesome.
And when you're shooting, a baby gets 15 minutes max. That's it. And then the baby needs a break. And then
I mean, it's so obvious sometimes when they don't have the baby and they're just holding like a
that
doll.
always, yeah. Because it's so hard to cast a baby sometimes and shoot. You're
Did
better
you make
off
the
with a
baby
doll.
cry a lot?
No, I love the babies, and I love the little girl who plays my daughter. She's amazing. Working with kids is amazing. They're so free spirited. I was doing now my little baby's 4 years old and on the show.
Oh my gosh.
And
I remember she texted you happy birthday on your birthday.
Yeah, she's the sweetest.
She has a phone?
No, she
it's her
Instagrammed
mama.
you. She Instagrammed,
it's
but
her
yeah,
mama.
but
Her
it's
mama
yeah.
runs the Instagram and like.
Oh, that's cute.
But she's, I learned so much from this little girl. One, we're filming live, okay, and we did the scene. It came out good, but sometimes when you're shooting live on the show, if the joke didn't hit, you'll have rewrites immediately on the spot.
Oh,
So,
okay. Like backup lines.
Yes.
That
That's
didn't
based
go
on the
well.
audience response.
Based off of the audience response.
Okay.
So I have my script supervisor comes up to me and she's telling me all the new lines that I have. And I'm sitting down on the famous Roseanne couch, just listening to this. And my little my TV daughter is sitting next to me. Her lines didn't change. She still give her like a line or two, but she's amazing.
Well, I don't want to stress her out. Yeah.
No, but she's not stressed. This girl, she's so cute. She runs around and she calls John Goodman grandpa, you know, like, hey, grandpa.
She's like, I'm not stressed, but Renee's stressed.
For her, it's just, you know, what's interesting that she taught me that day. Whenever an actor goes to acting class, the teacher she's just trying to bring the kid that's inside of you out.
Oh.
And I remember, and like sitting next to this little girl, I was nervous. I had all these new lines that I had, and she goes, Papa, do you want to color with me? Right? And we're not shooting. For her, it's just playing.
Calls you Papa to like stay in character though too.
Because so in my head, I'm like, oh, I can't color with you right now. I have to remember my lines. And then I just see her. She's so calm, and she's just having such a good time coloring. I'm like, you know what? All the classes that I took was to be like this young child right now. Mm-hmm. Let me just learn from her. And I did. And I forgot about whatever lines I had. And I started coloring, and they yelled action, and the lines came in. And it was the funniest scene, the funniest take that I shot. And that little girl taught me that.
She's your new agent now.
I love her. She's incredible.
Coach.
Yeah, she's
life
my new
coach.
She's
your new life coach and acting coach.
You know, it's kids, man. They can teach us a lot. You know,
that's crazy.
Yeah, working with kids is beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, the baby thing, you can just tell sometimes. You really can. It's the baby doesn't move at all.
I took a picture with like 4 of the babies that look alike one time.
Dad of 4.
Dad of 4.
So I have a question. I'm a car guy, obviously. Yeah. You know, I love cars. And when you see like cars that are racing and they get in accidents and you're destroying a Ferrari, like, are you really destroying a Ferrari?
I think Scorsese really did destroy that white, beautiful Ferrari.
They did?
Yeah.
In which one? That was Jerry Bruckheimer. That was really? Because,
yes.
You know the one in the movie The Rock is Jerry Bruckheimer. They have the yellow Ferrari and it goes through the building. That was actually a kit car that they made to make it look like a Ferrari, and they used a Ferrari engine to produce a sound to make it a Ferrari.
Wow.
So, because think about it, to make a kit car probably was the cost of doing so, but the time and effort to do so, I'm sure, is a lot.
I mean, so much now, I would guess, is CGI.
Except for when you have Martin Scorsese money.
They want to make it real. They want to make it real.
Yeah.
Because is it true that I went to LA just about less than 6 months ago, and there's Warner Brothers, all those studios that are right there. So if you're filming like a 70s show or something like that, but you need 70s car and everything, there's like a museum of places you can go rent the stuff and make it look real.
That'd be really cool to go to.
Oh, you would love that. Yeah.
Like
it's not a thrift store, but
do they have like a fake food store?
That would be fun.
I'd still eat it.
Be like,
I'd find a way.
This is the water that they used in... What's a famous movie? I can't even think of one. It's the water they use in the show The Friends.
Or the famous volleyball and
Top Gun.
Wilson.
The Island. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks movie.
Oh my gosh.
Wilson,
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I am the worst at remembering movies and actors' names. I'm the worst.
Me too. I don't know anybody.
I guess I'm a third.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, I know what a song sounds like, and like I could sing the song, but like I don't know who sings it. I don't know anything about it.
How do they do when you're in an airplane?
Oh,
how do they film those scenes?
That's a set.
That's a set.
That's a fake airplane.
Yeah, I mean, the set. It looks.
It
real
narrows
inside.
into like the seats, a coach, first class, or whatever.
Yeah, and these sets they're pretty amazing because like they're. When you're inside the set, it feels real, right?
Do you get like motion
but when
sickness?
you leave, but when you walk off the set, you can see behind it, and it's all like it's held up by plywood and like
Well, I did see how they have a fake plane, and all these like fake social media influencers were taking pictures like they were first class.
Yes, you can rent little studios.
You can rent it for the day.
Oh, so
wow!
Yeah.
So is
crazy.
there like laws for just driving a car and shooting in a car, because they use the green screens all the time, but then they also don't sometimes?
That's all based on budget, and sound. So like, it's very rare that you'll see like a convertible shot, you know what I mean? A scene with a convertible. And, you know, first of all, if you and me were driving a convertible right now, we'll have to like yell at each other, you know?
It's literally like diners, drive-ins, and dives. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it, but no.
Guy Fieri is just driving around in his
in a convertible though, it does contain this. There is some containment though. It's actually interesting. But I see what you guys are saying.
Most of the time, they'll green screen that. They'll put it in the studio.
Or their trailer of the car, make it look like they're driving. They're not paying attention at all. You're like looking to your passenger the whole time, you know?
I did a green screen where I was in a truck. And the way they did it was the light department has a spinning light, so it can look like you're going through the street lights, right?
Oh, so it kind of is like a shadow and then a light shadow.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for the bumps on the road, what it is just a
hydraulics.
No,
just a bunch of people pushing the car.
It really is.
What?
It really, there is like a cement block, right, with a long plywood and two guys in the back just like pushing that plywood down, making the car go up and down. And you're just doing the scene like you're not seeing any of these people do this.
Because
is it hard not to look and laugh? I mean, like,
that's the hard part. Yeah. That's where the acting comes in. You know.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, speaking of which, though, I did I did a show called Code Black.
Okay.
And,
is that a medical show?
It's a medical show.
Okay.
I say Code Black is a bomb.
Is it?
Yeah. Code Black means there's a bomb.
Is that the? I thought it was when all the rooms are just filled in the emergency room.
That's like a slang people say, like triple black status.
It's called a status or something.
Okay.
But I think terms change between hospitals.
Code is like any emergent code. So Code Black or like Code Gray is like an aggressive patient.
Huh.
Our Code Pink is a
missing
child.
I didn't know that.
Code Lavender is like somebody needs mental health or chaplain.
So how was that doing Code Black? You know, since she's a nurse and I'm a physician, and you know, there's medical drama, Grey's Anatomy's out there, and all kinds of stuff.
It was the most. It was that show was. It felt real. They hired actual nurses as background.
Okay.
They hired. There was no. There weren't like dolls playing bodies. It was real bodies. You know.
So Katie can't go buy that doll.
No.
Like the horse.
No.
Okay.
No. But
So there's dead bodies?
No, not dead bodies. It'd be real human beings acting,
pretending
to be dead.
They'd have to hold their breath. I always wondered.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Death scenes look like they are tough though, because you do have to,
hold your breath.
Sometimes that camera's really on them.
I did a scene
for a period of time.
I did a scene in a show called Major Crimes where I had to walk in, and my character's sister passed away, and he had to go see her in the morgue. And I've never done a scene prior to that. I haven't ever done a scene like that where it's a real human being playing dead, right? Mm-hmm. And the worst part about it is, you know that the camera it's a close-up shot of you, and you have to prepare to cry and be emotional. Mm-hmm. And I had already prepared myself, but as I'm walking in and I get closer to the actress who's playing dead, and I'm saying my lines, you could see them blink a little bit, or you can see them breathe a little bit, and and it's
like,
really hard to stay in character when you're seeing that.
Yeah.
Because are you in your head like, oh, I know we're gonna have to reshoot this?
No.
You
lost. If you're thinking that, you destroyed your own. Oops. If you're thinking that, you destroyed your own scene.
Oh, okay.
So you have to maintain in character and just go through all the motions.
Because I guess the cameraman can just show another angle.
You're gonna do it a bunch of times,
different takes.
Right? But you still have to finish your scene. You don't just stop mid-scene. No, that's one of the most unprofessional things you could do.
You've always worked with someone who played dead, but there are plates where it's literal dead people.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh my God. No.
I didn't know.
I hope not. I don't think that'll be allowed.
I think what they do is they get these mannequins and they dress them to look like they're dead, right?
I'm going to donate my body, not to science.
And then they draw like all the veins that look engorged and this and that when someone is
because every crime show like Criminal Minds or like CSI Miami, like they always have someone's dead. Mm-hmm. It either starts out with a dead person, there's more dead people along the way, They look like dead people.
Yeah, no, a lot of them
Really good acting.
Mostly a lot of if it's a lot of dead bodies, it's normally just dolls. Like
Okay.
Yeah, Major Crimes had a like there was a part of the studio where you see just all these dolls just.
That's really creepy.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I've seen one where in medical school we deal with cadavers, right? So
Same.
It's the
EMT.
same concept, but there's shows that have cadavers there, as let's say Grey's Anatomy or something, right? So I was always curious because they do look. Sometimes it can look so real, right? And it's just obviously the makeup artists and everything that they do to really have
Special
someone like
effects.
Katie fall for it. Yeah, it's real.
It looks real to me.
Yeah.
It really does.
It just amazes me though because everyone has to do. They have to be well versed in what they're doing and how it looks and how it should look.
Grey's
really.
Anatomy is a little too realistic.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like the surgeries, I'm like, this looks real. And then like when they use cadavers in the show.
They take images probably from videos of real surgeries, and then it's just an open space with
even
blood,
though,
really.
There's scenes in that show where somebody's intestines fall out of their body.
That's not
and
too
she's
hard to
holding the
inflate.
intestine.
You just can imagine an inflatable intestine with just fluid-looking stuff.
I guess so.
Chris, have you seen shows where you're just like, I don't believe?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
Grey's Anatomy is one of them. Yes.
Well, there
Let
is
me
a lot.
counter to what Katie is saying.
So a lot of the stuff does look real, but it's so funny to see Grey's Anatomy. It's honestly just funny in general. They're so degrading towards nurses. And in the show, the surgeons of all people are doing nursing care.
Is that right?
The whole show, the entire time. Go remove a Foley in bed 2202. Are you kidding me? A surgeon has never even put on gloves when they walk in the patient's
so I
room.
will actually say the truth to that would be as medical students, when we're on surgical rotations, we did do that. We have removed Foleys. We have done that. But,
I guess we just haven't had surgical students on our floor before.
But yeah, so we have done. I have done that. I mean, it is something that, but it's not like a routine, right? It's not like. It's not a job title that a surgical resident's going to be doing, but if they're upset with someone who maybe, you're higher up and you be, all right, well, you go remove it, right? So it's one of those things that there's levels of stuff you do want to do and you don't want to do. And you have someone who's senior and they have an ego and they want to have you do something that is
so the
not
drama
fun.
part of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, there's the drama. Well, I don't want to say the drama, but there's some conceptual parts that could be true. They just take it and they draw it so to the 10th degree.
I'm always just I'm in love with the elevator scenes of that show.
Oh yeah,
it feels like that.
Everyone's always in the elevator.
Yeah, and the elevator rides are so long.
Yeah,
how many floors are they going up in that?
and then they click the
and it never
emergency.
stops
It
too.
never
It happens to be
stops.
no one else needs to get on the elevator.
Then they do an emergency stop button, and then they make out in the elevator.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's not patients needing this. Dying.
And a week later, she's pregnant.
They've almost killed off every single person in that show. And then Ellen Pompano, the main Meredith Grey.
Yeah.
I think she's leaving the show.
Yes,
Yeah, well, she's been there for a long
Day
time.
one.
Yeah, it's a
There's
long time.
almost 20 seasons now.
That's insane. I can't believe it lasted that long.
Yeah, it's been a really long time.
Good drama, but I think there are medical shows out there that have Chicago Med. And there's never a psychiatrist in the ER, I'll tell you that much. And there's a main role for a psychiatrist in the ER. I mean, that would never happen at any hospital, major hospital, or even community hospital. But the diagnoses are somewhat accurate, I would have to say.
You saw a movie recently you said was extremely accurate.
Oh, The Good Nurse?
The Good Nurse, yeah, on Netflix.
I don't even want to go there. That is scary.
That was actually a true story, but they did a really good job to replicate the truth with nurses and how they get IV fluids, and they talked about the Pyxis system.
It's a real thing. It scared
Pyxis
me.
is, just so everyone knows, though, it's where the nurses, you explain it. You're
Basically, the only people that have access are nurses. I don't even, do you have access
No.
to it? Yeah, so just nurses, because we're the only people that give medications on the unit,
Yeah.
unless you're in the ER.
It's like think about a pharmacy that has everything, and it's like just a big box.
The vending
It's a
machine.
vending machine, but
For
not
meds.
even that big, though.
And it's like fingerprint or a certain code, or it's very locked down.
Is there
obviously.
is there a problem with nurses going into that box ever?
What do you mean?
I mean,
no, I'll answer it.
I mean, I I would just think everyone's human and you have a pharmacy to yourself.
So basically what it is it depends on the scheduled class of the drug. So if it's, say, an antifungal or a stool softener or something, that they're not going to be super, how many are left? How many did you take?
Yeah.
You have to put a count of how many are there. But if it's like morphine, fentanyl, like some big ones, oxycodone, they're going to ask, when you opened up this machine, how many are in there? Then they're going to say, how many are you taking out? Then they're going to say, how many remain? Like, you really triple check yourself.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's only for those drugs. So in this Good Nurse Netflix one, it's like digoxin, insulin. You don't count those.
Wow.
Those aren't countable drugs. They still aren't. So it's like they've done this entire Netflix movie, and it terrifies me to my core because it could happen.
Wow.
It could still happen. Like saline bags, those aren't locked up. Those are in a supply closet.
And what
Insulin?
he's doing, for those you don't know, he's
yeah.
injecting into the saline bags like digoxin or some medications that can cause arrhythmia or something that can be life-threatening.
Once again, why all nurses need therapy.
Exactly.
I think I talked about this in the last segment we did.
Yes, and it's terrifying that it's that easy to do because, like, it's true. Insulin is not counted. Digoxin is not counted. Saline bags are not counted. Yeah, you have to scan the bag, but scanning the bag doesn't make the bag open up. And, like, the bag, you can still insert a bag. You can still hang a bag. You don't need it on there. But this nurse, it said on there, what? He killed 300 plus people.
They suspect there's 300 plus.
And their question was, why did you do it? And he said, because nobody stopped me.
That was probably the scariest moment to hear something like that. But yet the most accurate, because we even watched, oh my gosh, I'll even go back to Dr. Death, right? So there was a podcast on that, and there was a movie. Alec Baldwin was on there. Christian Slater was on there. The guy from Varsity Blues. They did an amazing job, but in the end, you know, the story is this neurosurgeon who, he's a hack. You know,
huge narcissist.
Makes it through neurosurgery residency, which I could tell you is probably one of the most difficult residencies there is out there. It is, 100%. Somehow he made it. He went to University of Tennessee, not to throw them under the bus, but, you know, it's not USF or anywhere I've been, so I will. And he somehow made it because he was also doing a PhD. So when people are doing that, there's research, and then there's also training, medical training. So he ended up doing more research. So his sign off for amount of cases you do, like you do spine surgery and there's different types, you have to do 100 before you graduate. You have to do another 100 for this. I had to do that for all kinds of procedures. You have to be signed off and make sure that you're, you know, able and you're competent to be able to do that. Somehow, you know, he did not, and he was not competent, and people were dying. He was having massive complications.
He was maiming people.
It was crazy.
Those were the terms that they were calling him. He was literally maiming people. Like, people come in with just like maybe
simple
tingling
surgery
of like the lower extremities, like tingling of the legs. They'd leave a paraplegic.
Wow.
They leave
are
no
feeding
sensation.
tube permanently in their stomach, right? You know,
I don't understand.
And then these people, I think it was Alec Baldwin or Christian Slater, one of them, they acted as like
they reported,
because in real life, other surgeons and doctors were actively trying to report him and stop him because it was like a monster. And they would go and do revisions and see what he had done, and they'd be like, "Who did this?"
So they'd find out, and it's smart of what this doctor did in real life, and unfortunate there's a system, a breakdown system that allows it to happen. He would leave the hospital, quit his, you have to get privileges. It's such a pain to get privilege as a doctor because you're giving away your entire life and security because you're exposed with everything that happens to you in your entire life. So he would drop his privileges, go to another hospital before they could even find out. And therefore, he'd be at another hospital performing surgeries, and he would just get away by changing the system. And
but then it was political, too, because the hospitals, like he would have an agreement with them if he left at a certain amount of time, like, you have to give me a recommendation letter. And so...
leave in good standing.
Like a leave in good standing. Yeah. So, like, these hospitals were so corrupt. They knew what he was doing. They knew he was maiming people. They would hide these patient cases, and then they were well knowing he was about to go hurt more people, but they would recommend him.
And has any of this changed within?
No, and at the end of the documentary, they explained how he got away with it and how no laws have been put in place to fix it.
Both those movies, no laws
No
have been
laws.
placed into any one of those situations.
crazy.
It can happen anytime.
And this year, a NICU nurse in the UK, I was reading up, has killed probably like 30 babies. I'm like, if that doesn't tug at your heartstrings enough, like Larry killed 30 babies for no reason. They're just insane. And same thing. The babies came in totally fine. Then they started deteriorating. And then they only found one string
No
that
one
was
knows
in
why.
common. And it was that nurse. And it's like they're just injecting things just to inject it. Same drugs, though. Like insulin, it's not counted. It's not protected. It's not locked down. It's all over the unit. Like saline, all over the unit. All these drugs are available.
There's something called Munchausen, right? Or Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah.
So Munchausen, obviously, most people would know is, you're causing harm to someone else. Usually it's like your loved one. Typical scenarios: a mom
And
they
their
have a
kid.
baby or a child or someone else, or a child that needs assistance and they're older and they're feeding and they may have some type of cognitive issue or something where they can't feed themselves or physical disability. And at that point, they're actually causing harm to gain attention. So they get attention from the hospital, the doctors, and then their friends because they may be, the psychology behind it is they may be lonely. People who want attention, then they draw up something that could, my son almost died and, oh my God, he's in a hospital and people, oh my God, what can we do for you?
Flock
And that's
to
when
you.
everyone comes and gives you that emotional support that they may not normally have every day. And it's addicting for them to do that.
The most famous one was Gypsy Rose. Have you heard of Gypsy Rose?
No.
They have a good documentary on Hulu and Netflix, or maybe just Hulu, but wow, this poor girl, her mom, I think she started out with very small problems, but then her mom had Munchausen's by proxy and loved the attention that her daughter and herself were getting. So she just started giving her daughter more drugs that were making her worse because she didn't need them. So it just made her worse and worse. Then she claimed that she couldn't walk, so she got a wheelchair. She got Habitat for Humanity to build them a house, build them a ramp, all this stuff. Her daughter can walk, and her daughter was always almost brainwashed, thinking, well, can I not walk? But it's like, you can. Your mom's just making you think that you can't. Like, she would get out of her wheelchair, in their house. And her mom would be like, get back in your wheelchair. It's wild.
You just remind. It's a little off the topic, right? But you reminded
We're
me
way
of,
off topic.
of just people will post pictures they're injured in a bed in the hospital, for wanting that attention, wanting that love.
For people to be like, what's wrong? Why are you at the hospital?
Yeah. But what's interesting about those posts is that they never explain what happened, right? They'll be like, had a really bad day, and then the comments are, what happened? And that person never explains.
Yeah, I know. All of a sudden they're gone.
And they're just doing it to get the attention.
attention.
That's just really sad when I see things like that. So.
And then the Gypsy Rose girl, I think she ends up murdering her mom.
Wow.
Her and her
It's a true
boyfriend.
story?
Yeah, so she had a boyfriend. She was trying to video call and stuff. I watched the documentary and I was like, wild.
For a girl who likes comedies, you just
I
there's a
know,
lot of
right?
great movies in
God.
our minds
Here's
right
my
now.
thing. I don't watch scary movies, but I'll watch a documentary. Because I'm like, this is an in-depth explanation of why it happened.
But isn't that more scary because it's more real?
Because it's real.
In a way, but it has happened. And
So there's a
usually,
darker
In quite a way.
side
In
to
quite a
Katie.
way.
like this Gypsy Rose girl who killed her mom, she's in prison. I'm safe. She's not out, But when you watch Criminal Minds or something, there's stories of things that have happened. I don't know where that guy actually is in the world.
But don't you think that'll make you more vigilant?
I don't know.
And
what? How? I think it should.
I don't know. It makes me more paranoid, I think.
Let's say you're walking down a road and you're accused of what could be dangerous because you remember from a scene of a movie. Now you're more vigilant.
I'm never walking down a road by myself.
Yeah, I
at
know. I
night.
forget you don't want to get kidnapped.
Yeah, I'm very vigilant.
You can't live in fear, man. Can't live in fear.
Says the man.
Oh, well, that's not true.
Listen, we've all
Listen,
done self-defense classes. We have to somehow let that take its effect.
I don't know. It's so different just walking around, being a lady.
Obviously,
It's a
you're
lot
obviously
harder.
walking around asking for attention, but walking around living your life normally without having fear. I think that's what Renee's trying to point
What do you
at.
mean walking around asking for attention? People get taken in broad daylight in sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
Yes. Bad things can happen. Now, I'm not saying that You're right. It is different for
I'm not
a
gonna
lady.
not go for a walk because I'm scared, but I'm also gonna be smart. And if it's 11 at
vigilant,
night,
right?
I'm not gonna go on a walk because it's 11 at night. I can go on a walk tomorrow at noon
Wow.
when it's safer.
But most people don't go for a walk at 11 o'clock at night, too. I mean, yeah, you're right. But
Probably because it's scary to walk at 11 at night.
Well, that's why I think people should stop watching so much TV and start getting out there into the world. If you don't, I get it.
It's true.
I get it. You know, like life has to be, as what you're sharing, life is different as a woman than it is for a man, and that I understand. But getting stuck into these TV shows that we're watching and knowing that it's all fake, and then and what you're getting psychologically from that is fear implemented into your subconscious,
driving more fear.
That's not healthy. And these shows are going on for years. You know, you have all these Law and Orders and all these things.
SVU.
SVU. You know, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, you know, if they are impacting us the way that you're saying, you're just sharing they are, then that's, people should talk about that. You know?
I think it's crazy how much they do just put out there in general. Like, again, I keep saying it, the Dahmer thing. That's wild.
But that's a true story.
I don't know if everyone in the world, especially people with troubled minds, need to see that.
But
I get it. There's copycat. There's concern for that.
Yes,
and there's copycat.
And then
But
that's a lot.
If you go down that road, right, that's a very slippery slope.
It
because
is.
that's what comedy's going through right now. Now you can't say
Freedom
certain
of
jokes.
speech,
Yeah, I
freedom
can't
of
say, you know,
expression.
cancel culture
you know,
because of that comedy.
You know, if I'm a painter, I paint something that inspires one person to do something good, and that inspires someone else to do something bad.
Yeah.
That's not the painter's fault. You know, yet he or she has every right to paint that painting.
Yeah.
You know,
and to them, obviously that Dahmer, that's their art.
Yes, and what was interesting about the Dahmer thing for me was people were talking about how it was kind of like praising him, you know.
I haven't watched it.
I could see that, though.
Yeah.
Of course.
And, you know, in a way, Katie, what I felt, correct me if I'm wrong, Kris, in a way I felt that what Dahmer was doing was getting you into the mindset of this guy and why he did what he did. Not saying that what he did is right. It just brought us into his psyche. And some people can perceive that as, oh, well, you're praising this man, you know, but it is a slippery slope. Should the Dahmer story be told, you know?
Well, look at Bundy. I mean, he kind of became a
Bundy.
celebrity, right? I mean, that's similar situation. But you watched Bundy.
Oh, I've watched Bundy a lot.
Well, you watched Dahmer, which is very interesting because they're both serial killers. They're both notorious for United States historical. Anytime you talk about serial killers, what names are going to come up? It's going to be Bundy. It's going to be Dahmer. It's going to be, you know, the Summer Sam, right? You know,
but Bundy, interesting enough, was like in the past 3 years? I think it was like 3 years ago. They came out with the Zac Efron movie because Zac Efron looks kind of like Bundy, and they made the movie more of like how he dated a woman during all of this, and it was about their relationship.
By the way, met Zac Efron. Really nice guy.
Oh, really? I love him.
Really, really nice guy. And one of the nicest people I've met in that town, man.
He's doing Down to Earth now, that show.
Yeah, great show.
It's
Yeah, it's a good
great.
show.
Great show.
It's great.
It's kind of funny. He kind of has a little bit of a smartass in that show.
I think he's, you know, he's a child actor, you know.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, High School Musical.
Yeah.
13
that's right,
again.
okay.
You know,
I didn't realize.
and society puts so much pressure on these young artists, and then all of a sudden he goes through puberty and like his face changes a little bit, or God knows what's going on.
No, he broke his jaw.
Yeah, and now
Poor
they're giving
thing.
him,
Everyone thinks he's got plastic surgery, and he's like, "No, I didn't ask for
Well,
this."
he did have some. He did have like his forehead change. I mean, there's definitely.
To be honest, none of that matters.
But
The
yeah,
whole
I agree.
world
It
is
doesn't
doing
matter.
it.
Yeah.
The guy's a good guy.
Let him do it if he
Leave the
wants it,
guy
right?
alone.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
good
I agree.
person.
He's a good person. Never met him, but
Speaking of like mental health, right? Society never cares about what happens when they just
bash
shit
them.
on an artist.
Yeah, they
you know
just
what I mean?
bash on them.
They just bash on them. These are regular human beings, you know, and
it makes people feel good for some reason to bash on something that other people don't have, right?
It's really sad.
That's what
man.
it seems like.
It's really sad, and you know, I've
like, who
seen
are
it.
they?
And successful people get the brunt of it too, I think.
But like,
in
who
general.
are they to say anything about the Zac Efron? Like, who are you to comment on him? Like,
well, it's more of the fact that like that when we are watching these shows, when we're we think it's real, and we're connected to these shows, so therefore we feel like we're in these shows. So in a way, people must feel that they have ownership of these artists because they've been impacted by their art. But in reality, this is just a human being portraying an art, and
it's
he or
not
she
them at
is
all.
not owned by anyone,
Yeah.
and they have every right to do what you guys do in your regular life, you know. And I find it sad when someone as nice as Zac Efron is like,
he didn't do anything to you.
no, yeah,
Like,
no,
why are you
exactly.
doing this
like
to
you know,
him?
if you guys met him, he's a nice person. So like, leave him alone. You know what I mean?
But even if they're not nice, I think it like you guys put yourselves in front of an entire world essentially, right?
Yeah.
And not every day someone has a good day, or
No,
not
that's
everyone.
100%
People
true.
have bad days, and it's a matter of like we may have moments where we think we're having a good day, and I change, an hour from now. Happens common,
I think of Shia LaBeouf when we speak like that.
Yeah, he's had a lot of hate.
He's had a lot of
too.
issues.
He's had a lot of issues, but I see him as one of the most fearless actors.
And it's like,
he's a good natural actor. Like you could tell,
he's an excellent artist, but he's just had issues throughout his personal life. And if we actually just respected the artist, right? Be it like
just as a person,
just as a person,
not gonna broadcast their whole life like that.
I don't think it's right to do that,
But it's what sells.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you have tabloids. You look at Harry and Meghan, right? That documentary on Netflix, and he's getting a lot of criticism for selling out the royal family, essentially just selling out. But and what he portrays with the royal family in England, how they are, is the media. They have to find something to sell, and all they do is they either make up something or they have someone from the inside saying something.
But why do we blame it on the media? Because if the viewer didn't like what they were watching, the media would have.
We're not
going to
buy
it.
We're not going to buy it. Right?
Aren't they catering and tailoring everything you're watching based off one click? Then they show you more of this. Oh, we said Zac Efron's name today. He's going to pop up on my phone later.
Yes, but we can't blame. See, the reason why there hasn't been any change on what we're discussing is because it's not on the media. The media is giving
what the viewers want.
What the viewers want.
I hear you.
So this is a social issue more than it is a media issue.
So it's a cultural issue, but it's worldwide.
Yes, sir.
Well, what's interesting is worldwide. It's not just a United States or an American thing. It's not just a British thing. I mean, this happens in every aspect. Maybe not North Korea because the media is regulated there.
Yeah. It's like, let's not go
but,
there.
Or even Russia for that matter.
I don't even want to touch North Korea right now.
But it is. It's a human instinct. It's almost like an innate behavior that actually allows us to better ourselves by thinking that people who may be more successful, richer, better looking, or whatever it may be, that, hey, something bad's happening and, makes that maybe the other person feel better. I don't know what it is. It's a human instinct. It almost feels like.
In a way, when I think of this topic, it makes me see that what media is truly doing, right, is allowing the viewer to escape, right? But that escape is stopping the viewer from doing the internal work that they should be doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's so much easier for me to point a finger at you than to just do the work that I have to do within myself to not let your vibrations impact me.
Right.
So when we see an artist fall, it's so much easier for me to go to Katie and be like, oh my God, did you see what so-and-so was doing?
Yeah.
And in a dark way, we all saw Lindsay Lohan back in the day collapsing,
right?
And everyone was just waiting for it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's pretty dark, man. This is a human being needing help, and no one's doing anything about it, just talking about it when they go back to work with all their employees.
Right.
You know, but they still consider themselves better than Lindsay Lohan, so therefore it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
child stars are a perfect example because a lot of them are not with us today because of just suicide, drugs, overdose, and because the pressure and persona that they had to put out there of what people thought and what they were inside. I mean,
they also they didn't grow up normal.
Normal, right?
No.
They grew up in a very
in front of everybody,
background.
in front of strangers.
No,
yeah, like your best friends weren't like the kids on the playground. They were like your like producers and agents. And
were you there with me when one of the actors was talking about
Macaulay Culkin?
Macaulay Culkin.
Yes.
Who was that?
That was Joe, one of our friends.
Oh yeah.
So he was what they were filming The Good Son, Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin.
I didn't even know Macaulay Culkin did.
So so his parents, obviously there was some history with his parents and them controlling his money, but every movie he did, he had to have a playground set there. It had to be a very specific playground set that he wanted, and it had to be to his liking. And this friend of ours, Joe, he was in that movie as well, or was a background, and he was playing with Elijah Wood, and they'd be tag and do this. And Macaulay, he said, it was some jealousy or whatever. But point is that it will be defined on what they want and how they want it. So social interaction for them was just not a normal thing to have. And it's not their fault by any means. I would never say that's their fault. It's just they grew up in that situation, and that's all they know.
Yeah, I know an actor in LA that was in and out of juvenile detention, and he ends up getting this amazing role, and he is. I consider him a great actor. I think he's very, very talented. He ends up being part of this show, playing a troubled kid. Right, playing a part of himself, right?
Yeah,
it's perfect. Now, to be a troubled kid and to act like a troubled kid, it's completely different, But this guy had the talent to do this. Now, when you're a series regular, right, you're making at least minimum between like 50 to like 90,000 a week, right? So this kid went from not making any money to doing, let's say he did 20 episodes, now he has
a couple $1 million.
Yeah, he has all this money, and then by the time the show's done, they're like, okay, bye. We'll see you next season. You know what I mean? And that's it. They don't teach them financial responsibility. They don't teach them
$3 million.
Anything. They just give these kids money, and they're free to do whatever they want. And of course, they should be free to do whatever they want, but it should come with some sense of guidance. And what happened to this kid was that he wanted to be a part of the streets, and he got into a whirlwind of trouble, ends up in jail, ends up in the worst positions of his life. And it's not, I don't see that as right, that we can squeeze out the lack of guidance that this kid has had through his life and put that in a show so we can sit down in our living room and embrace that and be inspired by that. But by the time he's done, we throw him out into the world, and say, good luck, and it's sad. Listen, is it sad that he got $3 million? No. You know what I mean? Anyone, and that's the problem, right? Most people would say, oh, well, they got $3 million. They can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Sports athletes, same thing, because they get big money. But I'll be honest with you. I think also, I don't know. I mean, minus your parents talking financial responsibility, which, that's usually where it comes from. We're not educated much about it. Like,
that's
even
if you're lucky enough to have
a family or support,
a family that would know
financial
responsibility.
But it's part of the system, though. It does not happen. It should be a mandated. whether it be in high school, middle school, even college, but there should be continuous education on financial responsibility.
We are actually, we created a company called Financial Literacy for Kids through the game of basketball. And we have a curriculum, and we have a book, and we have an online program. And we're beginning to sell it around the nation right now. We started in a small town in Texas. It is so hard to sell that book right now. And it's not because the curriculum is not needed. It is needed, but there's so many rules and regulations. These teachers are overworked and underpaid. And when you bring up a new subject for them, even though they know the kids need it,
they have all these other mandated
all
ones.
these mandates. So it's been really hard for us to launch this company, but it's slowly working. Trying to be a part of the solution, as we described, part of the problem.
Yeah, it's just hard because it's like a whole government thing to tap into. I don't even know how you do that.
Yeah, you just have to
really infiltrate the system.
Sometimes you just have to walk. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to face that fear, Katie, and walk on the streets at 11 o'clock and know that nothing's going to happen.
Y'all will not see me out when it's dark. I will be safely in my home.
Yeah.
You just got to inject it into social media and find means of actually giving away that people can learn through just, the EQ part, not the IQ part of things,
Which is funny you bring that up. TikTok, right? The TikTok in China is completely different from the TikTok here.
No, TikTok in China is
I want to see the TikTok in China.
Enriching the minds of their
Really?
youth.
Yes.
And then the TikTok here.
How do you get
they're
TikTok
like,
China?
How can we make America more stupid?
Yes. Have you heard about this?
No.
China goes, let's make a thing called TikTok.
It's like, it's just like going to school?
TikTok is a Chinese-owned company.
Wow.
Right? And
so they're filling our brains with stupid dances and stuff like that. And then over there, they get like actual enrichment.
Wait, hold on. What we're doing here is we're actually having people film stuff while they're working at the hospital, or they're doing something important, and you find out they're not. So, yeah. But China, I guess, is
they're doing it right.
They got the real deal here, huh?
Yeah, and
they're doing it right.
Yeah.
You know what? We talked. I think the last episode several months ago, we talked about having a Tinder for mental health. Maybe we should come up with an educational TikTok for America.
That would be
our financial responsibility discussion, right?
China would block it.
No, we're talking about They're like, no, you're not copying us.
No, they'd be like, this is a little too smart. I think you need to dumb it down a little bit.
You know what was interesting was during COVID, a lot of people who didn't have money ended up with some sort of money, right?
Through like online.
Through
stuff.
Through online thing. And what happened?
Like they're selling stuff.
No, so
like media.
So
being an influencer.
Like OnlyFans and
no, maybe not like that.
Okay, well, maybe wrong example.
Well, if you're switching the subject, I think
no, I was not switching the subject. I gave a bad example.
Oh wait, but that
OnlyFans is a big problem. I feel is a big issue.
Oh yeah.
I tend to agree.
In LA, the rent there is expensive.
People are selling pictures of their toes.
I mean,
they get money.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's just toes.
It look,
But people do make a lot of money selling their feet.
Yeah.
They do.
These apps, these new apps that.
Ooh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So for nude scenes or sex scenes, are they paid more because they're nude?
No, you just have to be made aware when you're auditioning. It's nude scene you're auditioning for.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. First of all, you choose the role, right?
Yeah, you say if you want to get paid this much or not.
The actor is going into an audition or is offered the role, reads the script, likes the story, and within that, within the negotiations, they'll talk about if there's a nude scene or not. Then, if you're okay with nudity, then you have someone from the union that's his or her job, is to make sure that you are safe for that scene.
Oh,
and
okay.
you talk to them about what you would show or you wouldn't show, and then that person's like your lawyer and goes to the director and producer and says, "This is what Rene will do and what he won't do." Now. that all started. That's all new. That process is new.
Wow.
That started during the Me Too movement. Yeah.
So, okay, sex scenes. Are they really having sex?
No.
Sure. Like,
That'd
are
be
you
porn.
sure?
I did see an
Yeah.
ad on Facebook. Well, not an ad, but you know how they have
It
those
looks like they're
historical.
really having sex.
There's 10 movies where actually actor and actress were really having sex. I forgot what they were. They were not like new movies or
What,
anything
they were like
that.
dating outside of the show?
No, they were actually real.
I mean,
Oh.
listen.
I don't know. I mean,
Is it from
Simulated.
From my, I've had multiple sex scenes, right? And that's all like it's all technical. It's actually uncomfortable more than it is like
But how does it look so real? It literally looks like they're having sex.
because it's acting, but like but right, but like
Where
but,
else would it go? I don't understand.
So for a male he'll have like a sock over his penis.
oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, and it's covered. And
You didn't know
the
that?
woman would have
No.
the woman would have something covering her vagina as well. So they're covered,
but there is some form of penetration based on what's covering them.
Excuse me?
He said, "What the hell did you just say?"
No, there's no penetration whatsoever.
There's not. Okay,
No,
so
there's a sack over it.
I mean, there's
Blocking
a
it.
sock.
Yeah.
Not a sock.
Okay, there's a cover,
Yes.
harness, whatever, and there's covering the vagina too. But when you see a sex scene, like like it's on top of each other, right?
No, sometimes they
So-
put a pad in between.
Okay, so
you
there's a
won't
pad.
have
So that's where I was going at.
physical-
So, okay, so there's a
There is-
pad,
yeah,
too.
sometimes there is
Hey,
a sense
that
of
makes-
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they put I've done a scene where they had to put a pad in between. So there is no true physical. Like,
And do you and the
stuff
actor, the other actor on the other side, do you guys decide what there
yeah,
should be a
no,
barrier?
You sit down and
Like, what's allowed? Like, that's my thing too. So now that this person is your advocate, the advocates talk to each other. Is it not allowed for the two actors and actresses to speak to one another about it?
No, you speak to the
Because it
your
could
other-
get a little dicey.
You speak with your scene partner about what if you and I were going to do a scene, Katie.
It's like, what are you okay with?
I would always sit down and be like, hey, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with?
But that's you. Like, what if someone's not like that?
That you have to tell them.
No, it's
Right?
the conversation's always there, and your advocate would always bring you.
And he
two
may
together
change your
and sit
mind
down.
too. Like, I thought I was, but I'm not now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you could always like you're free to back out anytime. There really isn't any pressure. But when I film, I like to I love the person that represents me. This is I forgot what they're called, but
Like the advocate person.
the advocate
Mhm.
person, right? But also you have to trust your director, and then they do what's called a closed set. So
not a lot of people are there.
oh, absolutely
I was
not.
going to ask that too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a.
Absolutely not. If you and me, Katie, are doing a scene, and we'll have the director there, and a sound guy,
And the advocates.
and the advocate in the room. Everyone else has a clear set.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's like it's being filmed. But
Yeah. But there's something about doing an intimate scene with people actually watching.
yeah,
It's
you don't
different.
get the same
Right.
effect. Or
Yeah.
even the same effect from each other. I feel like it'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but those scenes, there is a heavy amount of respect. At least when I've done them
That's good.
with your scene partner,
Mhm.
and you do sit down and you do talk to them about everything. Like, those there because it's so uncomfortable. It's not what.
Ow, it's like
what-
nothing. It's
Yeah.
not. It's inorganic. Like it's not real.
Yeah,
so
and you have to show
it being real.
it being real.
Mm.
So allowing yourself to be open with the technicalities of it,
Mhm.
that's when you open up. I had to do a scene. I had to do a threesome scene, and I've never had a threesome before.
So you were like, I don't even know how to
What
go
do
about
I do?
it.
So you have to have this is an adult conversation because you know what I mean. This isn't no one's giggling. No one's these
I'd be
are
giggling. I
two
feel
other
like.
no you and no because this is your profession. That'd be like giggling while you're doing a surgery. Like while you doing
I've
brain
definitely
surgery,
giggled
you
while
start-
doing my job. Not gonna
You know,
lie.
But but I'm not saying this is brain surgery. I'm saying there's still technicalities even within this threesome scene. The camera is you got to know where the camera is, and there's certain parts within the story that's being told that you have to. There's certain parts within the story that's being told that you have to portray and say. And I knew exactly at what moment I had to be where, and I knew where the camera was, and I knew where my body had to end up, where my face had to end up. And you're thinking about all these things while you're portraying this, and you're half naked. So it's intense. It's intense. I think Denzel Washington
in the movie The Flight.
He has the
flight attendants
in there,
yeah, and but he said something in an interview that was really interesting. Someone asked him like, "Hey, what do you tell your scene partner?" And he goes, "I'm sorry if I do, and I'm sorry if I don't." And he talked about being aroused. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And because it's possible for it to happen.
Yeah.
But it's part of the scene.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there is a high level of respect there.
Can't really control that. So that's crazy that he said that in an interview.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Probably bottom line.
It's true.
The final answer on that one, right?
Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah.
Wow. Denzel Washington.
Yeah. One of the greats to say it.
And that one too, because he's, again, like all the special effects of the food, he's drinking all the time. He's doing drugs. Am I thinking of the right movie?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys were looking at me like I was crazy.
No, just listening.
I was like, if not,
to
then I have no idea what movie I saw. But he was doing a lot of shit in his
We know
movie.
you may have seen it because it wasn't a scary movie.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was still like thrilling. It was a thrilling
thriller.
movie.
It was a thriller.
John Goodman was amazing in that movie. Remember John Goodman in that?
I do not.
He's the guy that supplied him all the coke.
Oh, yeah. See, so
he was a drug dealer in Hangover too.
Yeah.
Hangover 3.
Oh, no. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
Do
John
you
plays
think
a great role.
that they were doing vitamin B2?
You said they do flour also,
sometimes,
I remember, right?
Sometimes
Can't
it's
be
like,
good for you.
Yeah, right?
I've seen flour. I've seen vitamin B. I've seen some. Yeah. You wanted to say something, Kris?
No, I got excited. Sorry.
Oh, talk to me.
What about marijuana? I mean,
how do they do
especially
that?
in California when it's legal, right?
No,
I mean,
it's they're so these cigarettes are fake cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
They're herbal cigarettes.
but when they're like rolling a joint, that looks like real leaves.
They can put real marijuana in there, I'm sure, right?
Right.
But there's also like fake marijuana as well. Like,
I mean, have you seen the show called Weeds? It's on Netflix. It's so good.
I haven't seen it.
It's
but
Breaking
I know
Bad,
what you're
but
talking about.
with weed
Yeah.
instead of
Is
meth.
it really?
Yeah,
Oh.
but like,
Yeah, and it's a woman, like a mom, instead of a dad.
But all that is like it's fake. Now the smoking part is real. If you're inhaling, that you are
Because there's weed in that show constantly.
Yeah.
Because she's a weed dealer,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks legit. I mean, some of it doesn't, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember. I thought I saw an interview where people want to play the role, so they want to really get high during that role because
I've
they can.
seen that. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf's done
know?
that, and I
I'm
think
sure
really
yes.
got high.
he did mushrooms or acid in a film, and he just destroyed the scene. They had to like do it over again. Not too many people can do that and get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure. Like, who is it? Bill Maher. He's high all the time. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, Bill Maher.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Bill Maher is smoking right now wherever he's at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he
like,
shoots his show high. He's actually smoked in his show high, but that's Bill Maher's show.
Yeah, it's
You
his
know,
own thing.
if you're hiring
You can
Snoop
do whatever
Dogg,
you want.
you know Snoop Dogg's
Yeah.
gonna be high.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
But is it something? If I'm doing a scene, you know what I mean? Am I really gonna smoke? Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
See, I wish you would go on a reality show so I can ask you some questions about that.
Yeah. What do you want to know about reality?
I think
Not
reality
even-
destroys people.
No, I'm not talking about
It
that.
does
like,
destroy people.
Wait for it, guys. Competition reality shows, like food competition shows. Do they really only have 20 minutes to cook that gourmet meal? No way.
That's
No
your
way.
concern. We're here to talk about. That's what you. Of course.
She liked the simpler things in life.
Yeah. But do they really? They had 20 minutes and they made this? No way. It would have taken me an hour.
I think everything is for the viewers, and whatever they say.
And it's all scripted,
yeah,
by
it's
the
all
way.
scripted.
You know, the first
even
thing
the food competition shows.
everything's
Yes.
scripted. Everything's scripted.
My
the
whole
first
life
thing
is
I
all
ever
Bachelor's scripted, Bachelorette, all that stuff
Okay,
is
that's
scripted.
scripted, yeah.
But I wasn't talking about that. More like competition.
Kardashians is scripted,
Scripted,
where the
yeah.
producers say, "Hey, get in a fight with that person," and
100%.
that, you know.
I did.
Oh, I knew that, guys.
When I was in the
Did you?
first thing I ever did in LA was Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. and I just wanted to act.
What the hell's that?
It was Gene Simmons from Kiss had a show.
Oh, okay, Jesse.
And
Okay.
I just wanted to be a part of something, you know, and I found this opportunity and I got in the show. And at that time I was younger and I was able to date his daughter on the show. And
wait, like in the show or out of the show?
No, just on the show. Was that, you know, but like but they told me, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna take her out to dinner. You're gonna be really mean to her, like all these things. You know what I mean? And like, and you know, they placed us. We were in Universal City Studio.
Orlando?
No,
over there. It's in
Hollywood.
Oh, there's Universal over there
Yeah,
too.
the City Walk over
Not
there.
as good as Orlando, though.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Really? Because I don't even think our Universal's that good.
It's actually much better in there.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I had this date with this girl, and I had to be a jerk to her. And
so it's more like improv kind of.
It's all improv, but it's you're told what to do. You know what I mean? So like I'm sure with those cooking shows, you know, I'm hoping that guy is not that mean.
Katie's
What's
number
his
one
name?
concern.
Oh, Bobby Flay.
Oh no, who's the other guy that's really
the mean guy?
Who's the mean guy?
Who's the mean guy?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay. Yeah.
I mean, no one can. I mean, if that guy
That's
really,
real though. He's really mean.
Yeah.
He said, "What are you, an idiot sandwich?" Like screaming at this woman with bread between her head.
That's funny.
Poor lady. But it's funny though because he has kids on the show too.
Yeah.
Like he does like Chop Junior or whatever they're called.
Oh, is he mean to them too? I haven't seen that.
No, he actually has such a soft spot for kids.
Yeah, it's all a gimmick. You know what I mean?
No, he's really like.
No, he's really mean. I'm sure in real life he's mean.
You think so?
I think you could tell. There's some things in like maybe Katie can tell. I think that someone like him who has that historical pattern of being who they are, sometimes you don't deviate much from that.
I don't think he's a mean person all the time.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna come and like be like.
We don't know how he is. I mean, we could probably hang out with him, have a beer, and have the time of our lives.
I'm not saying he'd be mean to us. I'm not saying he'd be mean to us, but.
Yeah.
Okay, here, I guess this is the perception I would have. If I have a kitchen and that is the nature of how the show started by him being honest,
kitchen
this
nightmares.
food sucks, I'm going to throw this, blah, blah, blah. You know, I may do that in office too, like, oh, this is the worst thing, you know? But that probably is where it all started, right? There has to be some historical background that fit of what happened,
that made him
who
be
he
this
was.
bully.
Not saying that if we have a beer with him, he's going to be mean. I'll never like judge someone to the degree where that's
like the
what
Simon
they're going to be,
Cowell
right?
judge,
Yeah.
like
Simon Cowell, right? Yeah.
Are you kidding? Simon Cowell. I love Simon
Really?
Cowell. He's the best.
Hmm.
He is.
But it's a character like that.
I think it's a character. I think he's a character.
If you look at like all the shows worldwide that
have you seen him with his son? Simon Cowell is not a mean person.
Not to his son, maybe.
Yeah.
He's just an ass sometimes, but I feel like that's anybody.
It's so funny how we allow some celebrities to be an ass.
Like okay.
Yeah, like oh, it's okay. He did this or she did this. That's fine because that's so and so. That's another social experiment.
I've never met them before. I don't know them, but I'm like I love them.
Yeah. We fall in love with these people, or we allow them to do certain things. You know that
or the idea of these people.
The idea of these people. You know,
Hollywood's weird. I don't know how you did it, Rene.
It's not weird.
Because you're just not what I ever, like when you say like an actor from LA, like you just don't really like come off as that stereotype.
And that's why
that's why it's a stereotype.
Yeah, that's why it's a stereotype. And
right?
those who,
I would say so.
I feel
you met a couple of his friends who are actors too, and they were not like that.
No.
Yeah.
But like I'm just saying, like that's what everyone thines it is.
That's what everyone thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially in the East Coast, West Coast, right? I mean, people who haven't been to California and know that like people who watch TV, Netflix, I mean, that's the only way you can form your opinions on things, right? That's all you see.
That and the TMZ or any like, you know.
TMZ got a bad rap for a while, but now I think they're like, whatever we see, we put out there. And they're like, if the real information comes out later, then we put that out later.
But what is the real information? They're telling you it's the real information.
See, that's everything.
You know, I know
anything.
actors that call TMZ, so TMZ could be there, you know, and catch them coming out of a club or something like that.
Like I'm leaving the doctor's office.
And they
that's crazy. It's like an Instagram post or something.
Yeah, so like
no, it is.
You
that's
know,
nuts.
So they'll have the numbers of these paparazzi, so they can be there.
I'm gonna do that for you.
You know?
I'm like Renee's leaving right now.
Do you ever see paparazzi in LA like walking around? Because like I can picture the Kardashians, like they got like 20 people following them around.
They call the paparazzi.
They act like they don't want them to be there.
that's because they're
I'm
acting.
so naive.
Yeah, they call all of this, like the Kardashians, all they're doing, that is brilliant marketing. It's just brilliant marketing. You know, they're
making a label out of themselves.
Have you ever seen it though? Like, have you ever seen like a crowd of people flashing their cameras?
Yeah. Listen,
I mean, you go to red carpet events.
You
and
go
all
to
that
red
stuff,
carpets, and yes, they're out and about. Like paparazzis are real,
but they're not at Publix or your shopping center over there, like just hanging around and like snapping shots.
And they do follow them around. But there's also a business side to the paparazzi that no one talks about, you know, and the business side is the fact that, you know, an artist will have the paparazzi's number, you know.
What about the people that aren't calling them? I swear, like, who was it? I want to say it was like Blake Lively or Hilary Duff or somebody that's very like pro.
Yes, was coming out of the market with her child,
with their kids. Yes, they don't want their kids filmed.
That's a big issue as well. Yeah, that happens. That
they're
happens.
Like, I have my kid with me. I don't want their picture being taken. I don't want it exploited. They're like, get away from me.
Yeah,
it seems,
but more times
truthful.
than not, that's truthful. That happens. But more times than not, they're calling. They're calling. You know, at some point, you know.
I mean, you can't blame them, especially with social media and kids are. Everyone's judgmental, right? And what you post and everything.
I think they're doing it more of like protection.
That's what I mean. Like they're trying to protect because you don't want like it gets up there. What if their kids on the computer at home and you see these responses? Oh my God, I can't believe he's wearing that, or the hair looks like that. Like already you're judging.
And the kid's like 6.
You know,
and there's a lot of undisclosed conversations with these paparazzis and these artists. Like the paparazzis are around so much that they know each other.
There's a backhand deal.
Yeah, like I know a lot of the photographers that are there in the red carpet. I've seen them for years. You know what I mean? So we'll say hi. You know what I mean? I have a couple of their numbers. They'll be like, hey, I'm going to this event. Are you going to be there? And then I'll know about that event. You know, so there is an exchange of
working with each other.
Working with each other there. You know what I mean? That no one really talks about. Yeah,
wow.
Like I'm tired of the Kim Kardashian notifications. You know, Kim just bought this dress, and I'm like, why am I getting notified?
Yeah, I don't care.
You know, but the thing is, they paid for that. That's paid at that is like
smart,
paying
genius.
It's genius, but we see it as like, oh my God, Kim just bought a dress. This is crazy. You know, why do we care? I don't
find
know.
ways to hype your market, your brand up, right? Like it's just like all we could do is post stuff on social media. What they can do is get those people who can make it to social media and expose it 1,000 times.
Yeah. It's interesting the way we view
everything.
Hollywood.
There's so much that I had no idea. Just opened my.
You've learned a lot today.
Yeah. There's so much that was just behind the scenes.
And there's good people in that town. I know that there's.
It's a bad stigma.
There's a bad stigma to it, you know, but like. But it is the epicenter of culture, I feel, and
talent.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know. Florida, Florida Wild is wild over here.
I mean, listen, you know,
Florida give Florida some credit.
Florida should be the next Hollywood. They should be filming movies here. It's a beautiful state, beautiful beaches. You have it's water surrounded everywhere. We're near. All the major cities here, like Miami.
Don't tell anyone. I don't want anyone to move
Merritt
here.
Island, you know, I mean, right? Cocoa Beach.
No, nobody moved there. Those cities suck.
We'll be bringing films to Tampa, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, Florida in general. I mean,
I want to keep my little towns the way they are.
Are you?
Little. I don't want everyone.
You don't want to
moving.
get kidnapped when you're just like
that too.
Going into your mailbox.
Yeah, everyone needs.
We
to
would not
away.
want that to happen.
It's happened.
What?
Yes.
You've been kidnapped?
No, people have though.
Oh,
I mean,
just going to get their mail.
Okay, she has a PTSD we don't know about here, I guess.
Yeah. No, but people have gotten kidnapped from getting their
mail.
Who
are these people?
Women.
Who are these women? Give me one.
They've been in some romantic comedies.
So on a serious, real note, there was a woman. I don't know all of their names because there's been so many. Like there has.
I know there has been. I know that the possibility of a plane crashing down right now it could happen.
Is a lot lower than me getting kidnapped.
If you walk outside right now?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true either.
I just made up my own statistic.
Well, I know what you mean though.
You do? Because I'm still a little bit.
Well, I know that it's different for women. For example.
Okay, no, 100%. But I think her fear, her personal fear, not everyone feels that, right? I mean, I would hope not because I think it's sad because you should be living your life. You should not have that fear of doing it. And I understand there's a lot of bad people out there, but it's also the it's the judgments of what we make and how we do it too.
No, but I truly think that a man, I know not to get sexist, but a man will never feel the same way as a woman about her protection.
Yes, you're right.
So I can relate this.
On the other side, a woman will never understand how a man needs to protect and how he feels. You see?
So I'll agree with that. Can I give a perfect example?
Sure.
So, travel internationally, went to Peru. There was in the news, there was this, those big vans, right, that are in their highway there, got pulled over by the police. They open it up. There were body parts all in that, from kids, women, people. God. So it was like they were selling body parts, or they were killing people. It was like trafficking, all kinds of stuff, all in there.
It's definitely,
we're traveling there, right? And it's like when you're in a dangerous, you're in a dangerous, or there's a possibility because it's foreign to you, right? Yeah. So I can relate to what Katie's thinking is that, your guard is up, and there is that fear. You don't know who's following you or stalking you.
Your body parts in a van, that's so absurd. Like,
what it means is there's kidnapping. What it means is that there's people who will do really bad things, and how do they get to you? Look at Mexico. You just went to Mexico.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at the drug cartel there. I'm scared to go to Mexico. I want all my loved ones in one place in Mexico. Hell no.
But like the crimes that are happening that you're scared of in Mexico, the crimes that are happening in Tampa could happen to me. So it's not that unrealistic.
I was doing a movie, and I was with my friends. They're part of the LGBTQIA community, right? And we went out for dinner, and when it was getting late, they said, "Oh, we should go," and I'm like, "Wow, we just got here," and they were like, "No, we should go. I don't feel safe." And I asked them, like, "Why don't you feel safe? I don't understand," And they're like, "Oh, you won't understand," because they've gone through so much drama within their life, of people either, just threatening them or whatever, that, they're on the guard immediely, and I feel that that's what you're sharing with me, correct? That like, that's not I'm not a woman, or I'm not LGBTQ. I don't know what it is to feel like that.
Yeah.
And I understand that part, 'cause you're 100% right.
I feel like it's just so hard because it's like, the mindset of like, it'll never happen to me. Like, that's a bad mindset.
No, it's I think it's
I don't know if my survivor skills can work though.
All I could do is just hold on to the whoever's trying to kidnap us, and I say, "Katie, run!"
Run.
That's it. I'll get kidnapped, and you're good. You know what I mean?
I've seen movies where they do that.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna hold him down until you go.
Oh yeah, I can see this Katie going to a civilian and be like, Kris and Rene got kidnapped. I'm safe though. I'm safe.
I'm good. But you guys would figure out a way. You'd get out of it.
I think so.
Yeah, we had some ways.
I've been when I started traveling during college, my uncle gave me like the best advice. He goes, if someone's going to attack you, just make sure that you're crazier than him.
Yeah, bark at him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one day I found myself walking down this dark alley, coming out of a bar really late at night, and I was walking home, and there's this person walking towards me, but it was like a shadow kind of,
you know? My worst fear.
Oh yeah, and I thought of like every possible worst case scenario, every movie I watched,
Yes.
And then my uncle came to mind, and he's like, just make sure you're crazier than that person. And I went crazy. I was like, and I ran towards that person. That person ran away,
You're their biggest nightmare now.
Till this day, I feel sad because like I don't know if that person.
You scared them.
That's crazy.
You scared the living shit out of them.
I got home safe, and I wasn't kidnapped.
You did.
I got one last. I know we're running out of time, but there was one. I thought this was brilliant. This rape survivors. So there's I forgot where I saw it, but someone was attempting to rape her. What she said was, "I have AIDS," to her attacker.
I mean, a lot of them
guy did
not in the right mind.
Guy did not. I mean, obviously, he did not fulfill that whole whatever goal he was trying to accomplish. But it was smart to come up with things.
I would literally shit myself.
It was, yeah.
I mean, would.
but it was just
I'd pee myself, I'd
genius
shit
to do
myself,
that,
I'd
you know?
bark at them. I would act like I was a literal mental patient. Like I would be insane. I'd bite them. Like I would do anything in my power.
Yeah, you got to do whatever you got to do.
But I really would. I'd act like an actual mental person because eventually it's like they're human and they've got to be like, this chick is fucking crazy. Like she's crazy.
But I think some. I mean, you see.
They're crazy, but
they're crazy, and you can't gauge craziness, right? You can't almost.
Beat it.
I understand countering it with craziness, but at the same time, like you got to give them something that would be like.
So I'm saying, if you shit yourself, like that's a normal thing to be repulsed by.
It's hard on command to do that, though.
I think I could do it.
Not for an actor.
Well, I hope you don't practice tonight.
On command. You're like my dog.
Sylvie, Patty.
No, I'm literally like, go potty. She'll potty right then and there. I'm like,
it was great having this last talk till I guess we see you next year at some point. I know Tampa's your home, but we'll catch you every time we can.
I appreciate you. And for any listener, my name is Rene Rosado, and you could find me online at Rene Rosado on Instagram.
.com. No.
Well, hold on. Also, TikTok China, right?
TikTok?
You're on TikTok China?
I don't do TikTok, but maybe TikTok China.
All right.
Well, thanks,
All right,
Rene.
guys.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you all.